Just put aside everything you've ever learned from somebody else and see what's the truth for you, because there's no point in anyone telling you what is true. What do you know for certain? For absolute certain, what do you know for a fact? You say, I am a human. How do you know that? Is that your experience? When you go to direct experience, are you really? Does that actually explain the mystery of existence? A name, a label, a nationality, a species, a gender?
Are you ready to question what you believe you know? Dear friend of philosophy, I welcome you to the Key Philosophy Quest. I'm the Doctor of Philosophy, Hellmut Monz, and I invite you to join me on the quest of asking the key questions of philosophy. In this episode of the Key Philosophy Quest, I have philosophical questions for Kat Adamson, also known as Sailor Kat. Widow to Sailor Bob, the legendary captain of non-duality and game master of the great Spiel, Kat now sits at the helm. Since Bob's passing in February 2025, she sails the ship with clarity and compassion, taking on board those who seek to anchor themselves in the solid ground of being. Kat allowed me to visit her in Melbourne. Let's hear what Kat has to say. Your quest is to pay attention until the end and answer the following question. What do you really know? Kat, thank you so much for your time sitting down with me.
Aisha.
Okay, so you speak about non-duality. What is that? What is it that you speak about here?
Well, it's all about nothing. That's the joke of it. Yeah, the non-duality is just set of pointers. Is the label that we put on that set of pointers. And pointers basically to the fact that whatever it is that you want or you look for or you're seeking, it's already here. It's already present, shining in a plain view. The awareness of presence or the presence of awareness or the fact of existence. And it is only clouded by ideas of identity. That's it.
You talk about clouds that cloud things, and I immediately think about phenomena, what appears to be true.
Yes, like a dream. It's clouded. When it's not even clouded, it's actually, Bob used to call it the one essence experiencing and expressing as everything. So those clouds of ideas and concepts and dreams are just the way it expresses. And it's a magnificent expression. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that that expression contains the reference point. And if the reference point is taken to be a reality, the byproduct of it is psychological suffering.
When we take something that's actually not real serious, a lot of problems.
Yes.
A lot of imaginary problems.
Yes.
Come up. Talking about dreams, so what is an example of what would be dream stuff?
My mother doesn't love me. I'm not good enough. My future is fearful. I had a bad childhood and a past trauma. And after all, Bob would say, I'm only human. What can you expect? I'm only human. That's all dreams. That's all concepts, all ideas, all second-hand, third-hand informations that have never been verified.
Whoa, wait. So I am a human. So are you suggesting being a human is being a human? You are a human in a dream?
Yes, you say I am a human. How do you know that?
Very nice. So we talked about what appears to be true. We talked about dreams, and suddenly we suspect being a human might be a dream. How do we know that we actually human?
Mhm.
My question here then: what is really true?
That's a good question. The easiest way to answer it is to discard what is not the truth. What do you know? Everything that you have ever been told by someone else or somebody else that you have never verified, just put it aside and see what is left.
So us thinking, taking things for true that have been passed on to us, maybe there is the possibility that those things are not actually true. So it would be good to put them on the side and to look for to verify what is true first person.
Yes, yes. Just put aside everything you've ever learned from somebody else and see what's the truth for you, because there's no point in anyone telling you what is true. The same people told you you are a poor, miserable human being, and that's not true. At least you can't prove it.
We are skeptical. We suspect everything that has passed on to us as apparently true. Maybe it's not really true. Now it is the mission to find what is really true. So how to go about that? How to attempt the quest, the adventure, to figure out what is really true? First person, direct experience.
Direct
How
experience.
to do this?
Yeah, what do you know for certain? For absolute certain, what do you know for a fact that you can't deny?
What I want to get to know, or what I know already?
What do you know already? What you want to get to know, that's a different story, because that is, again, a lot of dream stuff in it. But what do you know already? Is there anything that you know for certain?
I'm a human being. I'm in
Nope.
Australia.
No, no, no. How do you know? Like, tell me any creature in nature who would share that concept of you being human and you being in Australia.
Okay, so maybe I cannot go that far. I am a human being that is, let's go back. I am a human being. What do I know about the human being stuff? I learned it in school.
Yes, and the fact of being human being, who told you? Who told you you are a human being? You didn't discover it by yourself.
No, at school, I went to school. I went to biology, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Maybe history. There's also some history.
Yeah, so that's a concept that you learned. That's not something that you know innately.
Okay, so I am a human being. So we go back again. I am
Full stop.
dot.
Yeah, I am. Full stop. Yeah.
But I always need I am more. I am I have a name. I am Hellmut. I am profession. I am living in here. I am, and so on. I always want to go more. I always go further than I am.
Yes, and everything that is after the I am, you can ask yourself, oh, how do I know that? Is that true? I am Hellmut. Is that true? Is that your experience? When you go to direct experience, are you really? Does that actually explain the mystery of existence? A name, a label, a nationality, a species, a gender?
Name. Let's look at name. I got it. Right, it was given to me. It
Yeah.
was written down in my birth certificate. It was written down the name. So this is not. This literally people told me who I am, who my name is. So this is not me coming up. No one asked me. No one involved me in that part. Okay, good. So yes, the name was invented. Usually parents invent the names for the children.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the I am, that would mean to look at this is my name, whose name, who owns. Ah, yeah, okay, owning. I own a lot. I have a body. I have a name. I have a profession. I have a mind.
Yeah, who
I
has
have a
it?
soul.
Who has those things? Who has those things? Who claims the ownership of the body and profession and the name?
Who or what?
Yeah.
And where? Where's the owner?
Yeah.
I believe, as a human being, I believe there is someone in the body, like in the brain, like a small little creature pulling levers and push buttons.
What a dream. Dreaming that there is tiny little creature inside there, pulling levers, thinking thoughts. How is he doing it? Or she, or whatever it is. And does anybody ever found that little creature? You know, the body was dissected sliced into pieces, many, many bodies.
We looked into the brain. Yes, we opened it up. We sliced it in many micromillimeters of thin slices, and we have failed to find a little tiny creature living in there.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So what is it that is looking for the answer to a question, what am I, or who am I, what is I, or who is I? What is it?
With that, in the past, I was thinking like someone holding a light, like a torch, shining light to find stuff. That's how I can find my car keys. This is how I find in the dark. I live in the forest. I can use the light to shine a path to my home. But the problem here is we're not looking for something out there. We're looking for who or what is holding
The torch.
the torch.
Yeah.
And now I want to look who's behind the torch. The problem I make 180 degrees, point in the other direction. There's no one in the other direction because I'm again behind the torch, but I just moved behind the torch.
Yeah.
So then how can the torchlight bend backwards from where it shines from? How this is this acrobatic act of turning backwards.
Yeah. Can it be done?
It's a dog chasing the tail kind of game.
Yeah. Once you look at it and you realize that it can't be done, the knife can't cut itself. It can cut a lot of things, but not itself. The torch can illuminate a lot of things, but not itself. It is itself a source of illumination. It can't do it. Like the eye can only see the reflection of itself, but not itself. There is the saying in the Gita that the sword can't cut it, the fire can't burn it, the water can't drown it, because it contains all those things.
So we can't find it.
No. And this is a beautiful way you actually came about all that non-duality. To just at the start realize that the answer cannot be found. The answer to what am I or who am I cannot be found. Well, it can be believed, but that's just more dream stuff. That's just more delusion.
For us, do we have confidence that this is not another dream, the unfindable I, that this is not another belief or another dream? What would be, are there, are there criteria where we can say, yes, this is therefore the real truth and not apparent truth. This is not a belief. This is actually knowledge. What can we look for to say, how can we do the recognition that this is actually the solid truth? What are the characteristics or what are the signs or the pointers to make sure we're not being scammed
into believing in another story?
Exactly.
Great point. What is not the belief?
What is not a belief?
Yes. What is the reality underlying all beliefs? The definition of reality traditionally is that which never changes. The truth never fluctuates. It never fades. It is ever present, ever fresh, always here. What doesn't change? What is ever present?
But let's keep looking for stuff. The problem with the stuff I find, it's changing. It wobbles.
Yes.
I look at the table is made of wood, the wood is made of molecules, the elements, the atoms, the subatomic, all this stuff quivers.
Yeah.
And because it always moves, it's liquid and it always escapes my grasping. And now you sitting here with you, we are asking, okay, what is not in the spotlight of the flash in the light, but who's behind the light? And the problem is now when I turn backwards to myself, I again only find movement. Things move, thoughts, sensations, feelings.
Yeah.
We assume object permanence, we assume subject permanence, but the problem is when we look for things, everything we find moves.
Yes.
And now you saying that the reality is that which doesn't do that.
Doesn't move.
Is changeless. Is motionless.
Yes.
Is still.
Yes.
Then how to find that? because again, the only thing we can find is movement.
That's right. That's right. How to find that? Now the question is,
So how to find the unfindable?
can it be found? Can it be found?
If you go hardcore, if you give me the pointer, reality is that which does not change, which does not move, would mean it has no feet. And if it has no feet, it can't go anywhere. And I can only find that which is not here. So I need to. I can lose my car keys. Then I can find them.
Yes.
But if I haven't lost my car keys, I will not ever be able to find them because I've never lost them. And if we define with your pointer reality as the changeless,
Yes.
as the motionless, we have the trouble of it and being impossible to find because it's not
lost. Never lost. Yes. What is here always and forever that can't be found even though it's not lost?
I have a question on my list. What does neither appear nor disappear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What is always and forever here and now? Is the answer to both questions the same answer?
It is. It is. And it's not even an answer, because something that is undefinable, unobjectifiable, ineffable, unfindable, that you can't even say whether it is or it isn't, but you can't deny it. You know, that torch, that light of knowing, that light in which everything is known, that pure light of consciousness. Can you deny it? Even though it doesn't have location, space, shape, size, you can't even say that it exists, but you can't say that it doesn't. You can't say you are unaware, or you are not existing, or you are not present. There is a presence, there is an awareness. It is here, even though you can't put it in any shape, any form. But if you try to stop being, stop for a moment and see how it is not to be, not going to work.
The presence, that which does not come and go, that which does neither appear nor disappear, that which is always and forever here and now, that is and cannot be. It cannot not exist. Is that what you're pointing to?
Yeah.
So non-being would be funny.
Non-being can be a dream, but you have to exist to experience or imagine that dream. So the being is like a basic space, like what in quantum mechanics you could say like a pure field of probability in which nothing happens unless it expresses itself as a movement, energy, vibration, thunderbolt, whatever it is. But the field, as it is, can't be said to exist or to not exist. But it can't be denied. The probability or possibility can't be denied. It's always here.
As a human being, I have a mind, and my mind always is all the things. Back to things I find. These are things.
Yes.
And the things, there are many things, or I believe there are many things. Those things, they also have shape and form. They have outlines and boundaries, and there's this thing, and then the thing stops. Then there's something else, and then there's something other.
Yeah.
But now when you talk about that which is always here, and you said it's formless.
Yeah, it is like space. You can't say that space exists because it's not an object. You can't put any boundaries around it. But you can't say it doesn't exist. It's just nothing you can say about it.
Boundaries. When I hear boundaries, I think about freedom. So I have to ask, what is true freedom?
You can define it for yourself. But the basics of the freedom is freedom what, from what, and freedom to what. That's what usually comes with the concept. But freedom usually is from the confines of belief, confines, the boundaries, yes, of beliefs.
My mind, as a human being, my mind, when I ask for freedom, I always think about lessening confinement and increasing boundaries. So maybe I want to have increase of something. I want to have more money or
More pleasure.
more pleasure, or the property needs to be bigger and my apartment needs to be bigger. All right.
Mm,
So I usually say the boundary, let's have a bigger boundary.
yeah.
But the issue is this stupid boundary is still there. So
Yeah.
even if I have more, there's
Mhm.
always there's always that what is outside of the boundary, which again needs to be captured to increase and
Mhm.
so on. It's never enough, and regardless of how more,
Yeah.
it's never enough. And I always have
Mm.
this stupid boundary, even if let's say if I live in Australia, and even if I get that my property
Mm.
captured all available space that is Australia, I still have ocean around Australia,
Yeah.
and then again.
Yeah. Even if you own the planet or the galaxy, all the whole universe, any concept that you can conceive of is an appearance in that space. Any boundaries, no matter how wide, are still the appearance in that space.
Question: is that another feature of reality? It's that which is always here and always now. It does not come and go. It does not change. It doesn't move. Is boundlessness also one of
Yeah. Boundlessness, yes. Timeless, birthless, bodiless, mindless, boundless. There is nothing that can be said about it. There is no definition, no quality, no temperature, no texture.
what is other than real? Where would reality end? What could then begin that is other
Hmm.
than reality?
Once it starts fluctuating and changing and dancing and being impermanent, bound, mind bound. In Buddhism they say emptiness is form and form is emptiness. They are the same in essence, but they're so different in the appearance. When you see that with that which never changes vibrating into all those subatomic particles, becoming chairs and tables and trees and planets and cells and galaxies and feelings and thoughts and relationships and all the beautiful dream stuff that is time bound, that is objectifiable, that is changing, that is mortal, and it has its opposite. You have carrot and absence of carrot. That is the dream stuff. That is what the reality being non-tangible, non-existent, neither existent nor non-existent, pure potentiality of field of infinite possibilities suddenly vibrating into an object. And that object has a beginning in time and it has an end. So it is ever changing and it is made of vibrating molecules. So it is a dream stuff.
When the unchanging reality vibrates, does it vibrate or does it seem to vibrate?
Yeah, you can say it seems to vibrate because being one, it doesn't stop being what it is, but it dreams. That's why we call it dream. We don't even call it, I mean, yes, it is sometimes called the illusion or Maya or just unreality, but really it's neither. It is the dream. It appears to be, it seems to be, just like a dream at night. You may be climbing mountains or flying or arguing with someone while your body doesn't utter a word, while your eyes, physical eyes, are closed. You're not moving, your body is motionless. And all that dream stuff, all that colorful, incredibly engaging, emotionally juicy dream stuff comes out of nowhere and comes back into nowhere.
Dream stuff is the characteristic of dream stuff is that it vibrates. So when it has a vibration, we can say, dream stuff. Is that a
Yes,
giveaway? That's a
yes, yes,
giveaway.
yes. If it has any existence, any tangible, observable, conceivable, perceivable shape and form, if it is, the pure experiencing is inseparable field of oneness. but the experiences, that experience, this experience of having a face, experience of having a content, those are all fluctuations.
Okay, so we have vibration, and the second thing I believe you pointed at is multiplicity. Many,
Yeah.
many stuff, quantity, this and this and this and this.
Yeah. When you go into a dream stuff, it's like infinity of creative potential showing up as everything. They call it 10,000 things, but obviously it's not the 10,000 things. It's infinitum of different vibrations, sound, sights, waves. It's beautifully, colorfully, juicy, fractally, holographic mandala of dream stuff.
Psychedelic.
It's like,
It is psychedelic. The dream is psychedelic, yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yes. Okay, good. Then, all right, dream stuff, beautiful. We need to say well done. Congratulations, well done. But let's say, okay, good. But then, what is this really?
It's an expression. It's an expression. You know, when sometimes they call it God the creator. Why? Infinitely creative. The creativity of that field of infinite possibilities. But why would it create? Why would it want to express itself and experience itself? I remember having those questions haunting me when I was a seeker. Why? Why would just that beautiful, fulfilled, complete oneness want to separate into fear and anxiety and love and pain and pleasure? Once the psychological suffering drops away, that question drops away also because it's self-evident and obvious. I know.
The creator, the creation is very creative.
Yeah.
And I remember you describing reality as that which wasn't born, the birthless.
Never changes.
Not
birthless,
changes.
deathless.
Birthless.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything that is created is being birthed, right?
Yeah.
So then that would be after here. What this really is the uncreated, the unborn.
Yes.
And that's the trick. The only reason it can't die is because it wasn't born. Because that's the sad thing is birth has to come with death. That's the rule of duality. That always has to come with the opposite.
Yeah. Oh, how wonderfully so. Imagine if the patterns were permanently there. How could you even appreciate it?
Yeah.
The love of the creation, the appreciation of those incredible diversity is only possible because they're temporary, they're fleeting.
I think we kind of nailed it. We cannot find it. We went through it.
Unfindable.
It's unfindable. No. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
We can't deny it.
Then the problem is ignorance. It's being ignored. It's overlooked.
Yes. And this is because we are using the wrong tool. Looking for that which is prior to the mind through the objectifying machinery, division, machinery of dividing. Using the dividing property of the mind to find indivisible is absurd, obviously impossible. Again, using the instrument that creates duality, because this is what mind does. It labels, it defines things out of its background. Using that machine to create the diversity, duality, to find non-duality can't happen. And again, mind is also a vibration. It constantly vibrates into thoughts, feelings, definitions. Using the noise-making machine to find the silence, good luck with that. It's completely impossible. It just can't happen. And that's the only understanding that can ever be imparted to the mind. That get out of the way, relax. There is nothing there for you. The dividing machine, the duality projector, cannot find non-duality, which is underlying its very search. If not for that awareness or presence or consciousness, the mind couldn't even look. It wouldn't be there.
I think there's something there it needs to be seen. It's a bit hopeless. There's this like, look, you're not gonna find it like this. There has to be some sort of despair or hopelessness or.
But it doesn't need to be found. It's never been hidden. It's never been lost. It seems like the mind would just, oh my God, I'm never gonna find it. Oh, how depressing. What's the point? I'm gonna shoot myself. What's the point in life? If I am to believe that I'm never gonna find freedom, I don't want to be around. But this mind, this who says that, is never gonna find it. But this is not your true self. This is not your true self. This is a mechanical program of creating the illusion of self, driving the car, being in charge, having an illusion of control, illusion of doership. This program is generated in that biocomputer somewhere in the default mode network. It is the same program that will get your ChatGPT or your Siri in the phone, asking you a question, what else can I do for you? What else can I help you with today? It also says I. It also, and it automatic subtitles in the YouTube. Is a program which generates the illusion of agency. But that agency, no matter how believed into existence, and we all know how to believe things into existence because everyone was believing in Santa Claus or being a human or tooth fairy. All those things, once you believe it, the monster under the bed, they appear real. Or Jesus, your Savior, those things appear real when believed. The act of belief is, again, according to the conditioning, is just the flow of the energy into the concepts generated by that programmed biocomputer. So if some biocomputer is programmed into believing in separation, well, it may die like this. But the space that you are, the true nature, is just there, relaxed, having a ball, laughing. Nothing ever happened. That's not a problem. If there is a body-mind machine that will forever perpetuate the dream of being an agency with free will and illusion of control, who's got a problem with that? Space doesn't. That which cannot find the answer is not your true self.
So let's go into that a bit. The true self, the false self, the who you're not, who you are.
Yeah.
Let's get to that.
The false self, once the child is born, the baby is born, coming out of the womb, it is just an open curiosity, the field of big, wide open eyes, the impulses running through the body, the breathing's already done. The child doesn't have any concept of, oh, I am breathing. I am beating my heart. It is the hands and legs are jumping up and down and rolling and screaming and crying when it's cold, when it's uncomfortable. All those impulses are running. And there is no idea of any self, any agency there. It's just pure life expressing through that body-mind organism. And then as the child grows, it starts learning. And then biocomputer gets programmed. It learns through imitation. It imitates the emotional, the body language. It learns language. It has the environment which tells it what it is. And it doesn't have any other option but just start running that narrative program also. And you speak English, and I know you speak a couple of other languages, so you remember how it is when you start learning a language and you want to speak in that language and you first rehearse, how am I going to say it? And then you say it. The little child is also rehearsing, how do I communicate, how do I interact with the language that I'm learning through imitation by observing my mother constantly saying, I do this, you do this, and you are the little Johnny, or you are whoever, whatever you name. Inevitably, the child starts getting conditioned to believing that there is an agency there, the little creature there. And then as it grows up, it takes credit for more and more little things that I've done this was good. I've done that. I like this one. I don't like this one. And the natural preferences, natural attractions and repulsions that were always there since the child was born, it would scream when it's wet or hungry or cold, or it would laugh when it is warm and fed. All the natural inclinations, the attractions and repulsions are now translated to I. This is my preference. I like this. I don't like that. And it is up to me to get more pleasure and to avoid more pain. And if I'm doing a good job at that, I will be healthy and I will have a good self-confidence and I will have reasonably pleasant dream. But this is an illusion of control.
So with the construction of this self that was never inside, there is this a misunderstanding, or is this taking it too serious?
It's just the inevitability of that life experiencing and expressing itself as the polarity of, that limited, poor, miserable little self human being. Without that experience, the experiencing of absolute freedom from that fixed perspective is frankly not on the menu.
As a child, I take things for granted. I have to believe my parents in some sense, because how would I, there are a lot of beliefs I'm dependent on. But as I grow up and mature, I become more critical, more independent, and I want to know things myself directly.
Mm-hmm.
And as a grown-up, let's say that the difference between being a child and a grown-up is, as a grown-up, you know who you really are.
Do you?
And my my quest would then be, as an adult, to really be an adult, to know who I really am. And now this is the move from false self to real self. How is this paradigm shift, this transformation facilitated? How is that then done?
It can't be done.
Because it's like a ghost realizing, or a fantasy realizing it's a fantasy. So the fantasy will never find out what it really is, because I'm sorry to tell you, it's a fantasy.
Exactly. And even if it did, let's say that fantasy, you put it into a cartoon. You make a cartoon about a little, a big spiritual seeker coming through childhood and becoming an adult. And now that cartoon character in that colorful comic book is looking for the truth, or looking for its true self. And it realizes or it doesn't realize, it doesn't matter. It is all in the fantasy book. And it dies with the fantasy book, and it gets shredded in 150 or 1,000 years with the fantasy book. What value that realization or lack of realization would ever have? It doesn't matter. It is in that cartoon comic book. But the one in the comic book, is that who you are? Is that your essential self?
It's the false self. Yes, the false self is
That's the avatar. That's the costume.
The costume.
Yeah.
The persona. Yeah. The mask.
The personality, whatever you want to call it. This is the dream character.
Dream character.
So that dream character, whatever it realizes, that realization will happen within that space-like awareness that never needed to realize anything. And never lost anything, never found anything, never lacked anything. That pure absoluteness, that no thing. So that who wants to realize is not your essential self. That's always the dream character. And realizing that that one who seeks is just an appearance, giving up on it, just blowing it a kiss. And this is just an appearance. It's ChatGPT or whatever. is not who I am. I am the presence in which that child was born, then that child went to school, and then it had the first love and the first heartbreak and the first disappointment and abuse and trauma. All of that is remembered, is experienced in the same field of presence. Everything that is ever experienced is experienced in that field of presence.
But still, no, but I really want to know who I really am. Okay, the dream character is still.
Yes, that's
how do I really realize or remember or re-know or the space, the presence that I really am?
It cannot be done. Because the dream character is absolutely hopeless. It's just a drawn character on the page. It can't realize anything. There's no hope for it. It's no hope, literally. It can sit in meditation for 100 lifetimes. It can bow down, pay millions of dollars for expensive retreats. It can eat or not eat this food or that, the other food. It is all within that dream character's life story, and it doesn't matter. It completely doesn't matter. But and it is a paradigm shift, when the realization that the dream character is just an appearance on that screen, it's like, you cast a movie on the blank canvas, on the projecting screen. That dream character in that movie is not who you are. You are the one that is giving it a space. That witnessing presence, that 3D screen in which the dream character arises. When you realize that whatever the dream character is going through is witnessed, is known in that pure knowing. And that realization is spontaneous. The dream character can do nothing, completely nothing, for that realization to show up. Although openness, relaxation, leaving things as they are. If the dream character or the mind, because that's the same thing, you can call it mind, you can call it an ego, dream character, or avatar, costume. If that can resonate with the message, telling it that it is a cloud, it is the veil, it stands in a way, just trust life, just relax. Just relax, leave everything, let life resolve it. Notice how you are being lived by life. Notice how you can't think your next thought. The thought will just show up in the mind. Notice how you cannot beat your heart, how you did not really choose your meal from the menu. The thought just was discovered. Everything that happened within the experience of dream character is a discovery rather than the act of doing. When this one is recognized, and you can't say that the dream character recognizes it, because dream character is, again, it's a chat GPT. It's a program. It doesn't have any sentience. It doesn't have any brain. It's a written software. It's nothing but that. But if there is a resonation within that field of pointing, that, oh yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not breathing my body. I'm not growing my hair. I'm not thinking my thoughts. In fact, I don't know what I'm going to be thinking. I don't know what's my next thought going to be. I don't know what I'm going to be thinking in 5 minutes from now. I don't know. Well, I can say I have certain preferences, but moment to moment, I don't know which of those preferences will be actualized. It depends on everything else. On the mood, and I can't choose my mood. On the weather, I can't choose any of it. It's all the attitude of being rather a discoverer, a childlike learner, attitude of curiosity, of what is going to happen next? How is the dream going to unfold next moment? Rather than the attitude of I'm the doer. I am beating my heart. I am thinking my thoughts. I am doing the right things and the wrong things, and I am right. And my beliefs are the truth. That is the part of questioning that loosening up that rigid boundaries of I know, I have to find, I know what I'm going to find. I'm going to find my true self, or I'm going to find enlightenment. That's it. Is there really anything to be found? Do you really know anything? That attitude of just openness and curiosity, in which there may be a bell ringing, like when you hear that message, yeah, oh, yeah. It's like long forgotten tune, because everyone was born into the natural state. Everyone was that newborn baby prior to learning conceptual symbolic language, which made symbols and objects out of everything. First of all, oneself. So it is familiar, and no one can deny the fact of their own existence. What they are, we can speculate forever. But that they are, no one can argue. Even to argue is actually confirmation that they are. So this is the truth which is unified, which is one and the same for everyone. We know that we are. We don't even know that it's a we in that sentence. We is already said too much. But that I am is undeniable. The rest is all questionable.
Okay, who are you really?
Yeah. Who wants to know? Who cares? Who cares? Is there anyone, that illusion of there is a me and I will only relax when I find the truth? And I must, or else my life depends on it. I have such a strong longing, such a desire and a love for truth. This is my singular purpose in life. I only want that and nothing else, and I want rest. That's the mind. What's wrong with right now if you don't think about it? That was my beautiful late husband's cardinal pointer. What is truth? Without any thoughts, without any questions, without any objections. See how that minds come, yes, but I need that. I'm in love with the truth. It really says, this is not good enough. I hate this. I don't want to be here. I want something else. I want more pleasure. I want the final truth. I want the grandiosity of a belief that now I have it. It's all dream stuff. It's all ideas that there is something wrong with this moment as it is. All thoughts. No thought, no problem. What is wrong with right now if I don't think about it? Let's wait. Let's find out. What can I say about this moment if I don't have any thoughts? Nothing. Can I say anything is wrong? Obviously I can't, because I need the thought to say it. Okay, so there is nothing wrong. There is absolute okayness. Nothing missing. There is nothing that I need to find out if I don't have a thought. I don't need to find out my true nature if I don't have a thought. If I don't have that desire, if I don't subscribe to the belief that there is an I that is incomplete and that can add to itself some knowledge, wisdom, or understanding, and therefore make itself total or full. Those are all nonsense thoughts. They are all dream stuff. Without those thoughts, that's it. There is existence. That doesn't disappear. There is an experiencing, the field of seeing. In that field of seeing, they are changing forms, dream stuff. There is field of experiencing, dream stuff. And there is nothing wrong with the dream stuff.
So wrapping up, thinking about all this together, I believe that I am a character on that screen.
Yes.
Moving around on that screen, on the computer screen, and I have a story going on. It can be science fiction, different genres, different stories happening there with other characters. They them themselves believing they're characters on the screen. Yet, who I really are, if I actually really look at me, I see that I am just those vibrating, colorful pixels.
Yeah.
And what's actually physically there is the monitor, the screen itself,
Yes.
or the space in which I am.
Yes.
I have never been apart. The first time my imaginary self was switched on,
Yeah.
I was on that screen.
Yeah.
Before I was that character, the screen is still here.
Yeah.
When I'm not here, if I change the scene or I go to sleep or the camera goes the screen is still always there. So I will never be able to find that screen.
No,
because
because you are
it's I can't kick it away. I can't.
Yes.
I can try whatever I want. I can't lose that screen. I can
No.
hide in any corner of that screen. Yet the screen is always there.
Yeah. You are it. You are the screen, the 3D or 4D screen, 4-dimensional screen for all the projection. You are that. How could you possibly remove it?
So you are already that.
Yes. Yes. You are that. You see how everything that is ever experienced or perceived or sensed is already known in that field of knowing. You are the field of knowing. The idea that I'm located here and that car that just made the noise, the traffic noise, is out there. It's just a thought created by the program here, the projector.
Storytelling. There's a car over there going.
That creates the time and the frames, and it names objects and it locates them so they are easy to navigate around. It's a beautiful program, but it is added upon that field of experiencing. And without that program, without believing that program, just pushing it aside, in direct experience, everything that ever happens within that field of knowing or that field of consciousness. The car within my consciousness. You and that room, the whole world, the whole galaxy, whatever I want to dream that there is outside of this immediacy is happening within that field of knowing or that consciousness that I am. And that's the fact. Can you postulate anything outside of that field of knowing?
Possible, impossible.
No. So that's the direct experience. Everything that ever happened, perceivable, conceivable, imaginable, in any way, is going to be right here in that field of knowing, in that consciousness. And that's your essential nature. That's just the direct experience. It's already happening here, in the awareness, in that field. And now defining that I am something separate from that field and still experiencing everything within it. It's only for the purpose of self-realization, forgetting the basics, imagining yourself to be separate, the mad idea of separation, just for the glimpse of the eternity, because without that seeming confinement, it couldn't be experienced. Any experience has to have its opposite. So even though directly everything is known in that field, everything knowable is known in that consciousness that I am, the dream of being something separate from that field, an amazing dream. And realizing or transcending that dream or seeing it for what it is the evidence of its own. Like, why? Why would that take shape that it did? Because your mind is blown away and, of course, why not?
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing. It's possible. It's possible to just experience all that incredible, dreamy, psychedelic diversity of the juiciness of existence, yet knowing that it is just a dream.
And that gives lightness.
Oh yeah. It's quite amazing that in that space, any content, because again, for any expression and any experience to have the validity, it has to have its opposite. So for the pain to be possible, there is pleasure. For the pleasure to be possible, there is pain. Winter, summer, dark, night, sadness, joy, all of it. And there is a sweetness in all of it. There is a subtle sweetness in pain and grief and anger. And there is, because they just experiences, they just dreams, they're not going to last. There is no delusion that if there is whatever, a sad thought or insecure or whatever anxious thought, that, oh shit, this is it. The world is like that. Now I know. No, it's just a vibration. You don't even have to label it anywhere. You don't have to call it anger or fear. It's just an experience passing through. And it is temporary, so enjoy it while it's there, quickly, because in a second it's gonna be gone, and you're gonna miss out. So be there, right here, right now, because every right now is filled with that, and it is never gonna come back.
Speaking of finishing, we arrived to the end of our interview. Kat, thank you so much for your time.
A pleasure. It's only game in a town. It's really a pleasure to chat about it.
Awesome. Good. Very beautiful.
Dear friend of philosophy, thank you for joining the Key Philosophy Quest. So tell me, what do you really know? Write your answer into the comments below. If you want more Key Philosophy, visit www.keyphilosophy.com and sign up to the Key Philosophy newsletter.